Hello, happy Friday, Yarny friends. I feel like I always forget to tell you who I am and where you have found yourself. So I'm going to make sure to say right now, welcome to Talk Yarny to Me. That is my YouTube channel. And my name is Zuri. I will be talking Yarny with you for a few minutes, a very few minutes today, because I have almost nothing to show you. I finished two things. I started one thing and immediately ripped it out almost. And I'm working on one thing that you've seen, but I'll show you because it has made a lot of progress and it is gorgeous. So the two things I worked on, everything is crochet that I'm going to show you. My one knit thing is the thing I ripped out. My two finished projects are hats. As you know, I have been doing a lot of hats lately. Some of them I'm going to donate to just practice because I am still I feel like I'm still relatively new to crochet, so hats are great to practice on, and there's so many hat tutorials. The first one is this hat, which I don't remember the name of, but it's a bag a day. Sorry, I hate that. I sniffed. I just came in from walking my dogs, and it's cold here in Atlanta. Which is why I got my hat on. If I take it off, my hair is probably a mess. I don't feel like fixing it. So now, like, you know, when you go out for just a few minutes and come in and, you know, starts going crazy. So that's what mine is doing. So I'm trying not to sniff because that's the worst. It's like such a pet peeve of mine. But I feel like I'm going to have to. If I do, I'm so sorry. Because I hate when people, like, sniff and cough and, like, do bodily functions on camera. Like, I know. But anyway, this is the first hat. It's a bag a day pattern. I don't remember the name. It's an older tutorial. Though, hilariously enough, if you follow Bag of Day, she put out that video with like her 20 easy hats or something like that. And this is number 3. And I'm like literally working on this hat as I'm watching that video. I was like, that's the one I'm doing. So this one is called something. It's just a puff stitch beanie with a, what are you called? Post-stitch rim. Oh my gosh, wordings is hard. And I used Scarfy yarn, which is the yarn that was used in the tutorial, which is rare that I have it. I did go down a hook size, which I feel like it's still big, but I feel like it's supposed to be a slouchy, and this makes it, at least on me, it's too small to be a slouchy, but too big for a beanie. Like, it's this weird in between. So maybe I should have just either kept the regular hook size or gone down only half a size instead of a full hook size, like I usually do. But I'll put it on. Excuse this mess. And I love the color. I'm so tempted to, okay, let me turn. I guess it's still kind of slouchy. I'm so tempted to keep this one. Isn't that cute? Can you see? See, it's still kind of slouchy. I'm so tempted to keep this one, but I think I'm gonna donate it. Oh, it's so warm. I should have took this one out to walk the dogs. Like, I had to remind myself, like, I have so much Scarfy yarn. I probably have at least 24 various skeins of Scarfy. I'm off center, huh? Can I fix that? I don't know. I feel like I'm off center. Let's move over. Okay. All right. For a second, I thought I wasn't recording too. I was like, oh, it's 4 minutes of my life I'll never get back. Anyway. So yeah, I feel like I have like a ton of Scarfy. So I can always make another one. Like, I gotta remind myself. Because every time I make a hat, like a new hat, besides my basic beanie that I've been making, like every new one I make, I'm like, I can keep that one. And I'm like, you know, 1, I have tons of yarn of Scarfy. 2, I have tons of hats that I've made. I have like I have at least like, I have a knit hat. I've got this hat, which I was going to donate, but I feel like I might still donate this one too. Maybe I'll still donate this one. But I have this one still floating around my house. I've got, I've got a knit hat. The one that's like in my profile picture. That one I made a couple years ago. That's like my general run around hat. I have like a crochet hat I remember I made this year. I have several hats. I don't need more hats. But I love being warm, so I do love hats. And then I don't need this, like, you know what I mean? I have so much Scarfy. Whenever I really feel like I missed out, I can go and make myself another one. And this took one evening, you know? So, but it's so warm now that I have it on my head. when I first did it, I think when I first finished it, it was like late at night, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Get this off, like try it on, fine, whatever. I was tired, I rolled over, went to sleep. But now it's a couple days later, and I'm like, oh man, I like it. So anyway, that's what it is. Put you back on for now. But yeah, I really like the puff stitches. It did take a long time with all the puff stitches. It was a little tedious to make. And then it being wool, that's the only reason I'd be hesitant to donate it, because it's a wool hat and who knows who's allergic. But I mean, I really think, like I said, I'm going to try first. Actually, should reach out to the principal this week, because I really wanted to donate some to the school, take them out. They do like a food pantry every week. And so at least like have them, you know, I'll be like, hey, do you want to put these out and have these available at the food pantry? Like, I think this is something that a tween to young high schooler would wear, right? I don't know what the kids like. And then the other one is just this hat, basic beanie. This one was made with this, which is, if you guys recall, I told you guys that I had a bunch of the Karen Colorama, not Halo, just regular Colorama Ogos that I made my in-laws blankets for last Christmas, blankets with last Christmas. I have several left over. I think I showed you guys in my closet, right? And so this is the one that I made my mother-in-law. Several weeks ago, I made some hats with the ones that I used for my father-in-law's blanket, which is like a blue, gray, blues and grays. This is like pinks and tans and browns. So there's this. There's also like a darker brown. I just didn't get to it. So I'll be just, you know, working through those, because they take up so much space. They're great. I didn't mind them. Here's the thing. Everyone hates those things. I didn't mind them. The only thing I didn't like is that they were so expensive for like yarn that that is already out there in other forms. Like, so this is nothing but Karen Jumbo. This is Karen Jumbo. They had, I think, pretty sure this is what it feels like. They had like the Super Saver one, but okay, I can just go buy Super Saver. They had the Bernat one, which I don't really use blanket yarn, but if I wanted to, I could just go buy blanket yarn. And it's like, it's more expensive and you get less yardage, and it's yarn that's already out there. Like the Halo one, which is something that doesn't exist out in the world in another form, that one sold really well. It was really popular, and they brought it back as like a regular cake because it's different, you know. It's not something that is already out there that you just repackage differently, you know. Like, it's even, you know. So if they had like, I would have bought. I just didn't feel like spending the money. I never felt like spending the money because I didn't have anything to do with it, I didn't have anything I wanted to do with it. But I would have bought the Halo, like, even if it still was in the donut form. It didn't bother me. It just bothered me like when you just give me stuff like I already had. But when they went on clearance, yeah, I bought it. I bought these for $2 each, so I was able to. I want to say I bought like 6 each of those last year around this time, probably a little earlier, and so it was like $12. I mean, not 12, $12, yeah. It's like $12, even if I use all of them to make a blanket. I think I ended up using 2.5 to 3.5 for each blanket. So what did I spend, like $6 to $7, you know, where I was able to make their present for like $6 to $7 and had some left over. So, yeah, you know, I'll buy them on clearance all day. I bought a bunch. Not these ones. I bought some of the Simply Soft ones on clearance, I think, and I bought the blanket ones on clearance because I'm gonna make dog beds with. I actually bought them like way earlier this year. Those were like $3 each or something like that. And I needed like 18 of them. And I think I found 16. I found 16 in the color I wanted, and then they didn't have no more. So then I had to like kind of just get another color for the other two. And so I think I'm gonna get three extra, just for a little extra. But you know, it comes out to whatever that is times 3. 30, whatever, $46. I'm gonna make 2 dog beds. And then I think they're on clearance now at Joann's, and I ended up finding the color that I wanted originally, and I was like, I don't need to buy it. Like, it's just dog beds. I don't care if it matches, but I think I just kept seeing them there. So finally I think, I gotta double check, it's in my trunk, but I think I finally did buy like the 2 or 3 extra that I needed in the original color. So now I'm gonna have that other color, 2 or 3 of those floating around with nothing to do with them. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm gonna make 2 dog beds for my room with those, and see how it goes. My dogs tear up almost every bed that they've had. So I'm always like, I'm only gonna buy you guys 1 bed a year. Once you tear it up, you just gotta deal with it. But the bed that they're on now, they've actually kept for several years. There's like one little corner of it that's chewed, but other than that, they sleep on it. And it's like the flat kind as opposed to like the nice rounded. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. But anyway, those are my 2 things that I made. Finished. This I'm definitely donating. This is a maybe. Every time I look at it, I love the color. So this is Scarfy in Claret and Steel. Steel and Claret, I think is the name. Something in Claret. And then this is, I don't remember what this colorway name. Oh, and let me show you guys this. I discovered, when I first started making these, I discovered the crab stitch border. And it's my border. I mean, not border, brim. This is my go-to brim. I love it. It just looks so finished. I love it. So everything, like all the purple hats I made, I put the crab stitch brim on. All these hats I put the crab stitch brim on. I love the crab stitch brim. So anyway, there's that. The thing that I worked on, I tried to start and then I didn't. I immediately took out was these guys here. So this is the Touch of Alpaca I've been working through. I bought a bunch of those on clearance for like $3. Like I mentioned, I made this hat out of it. Very warm. So my idea with these is for years, like I have been planning and wanting to make a fisherman's rib hat in 2 colors. So if you don't know what fisherman's rib is, hang on, I'll show you. Just kidding. I must have given it to Goodwill. I did have a fisherman's rib scarf that I made several years ago. It's in 1 colorway. So fisherman's rib is a rib design. So generally with knit ribs, it's knit for 2-1, like whatever. Like if you do a 2x2 rib, it's 2 knits, 2 purls. And then when you go to the other, when you come around again, or when you flip it over, then it's pretty much purl the purls, knits the knits. That's all you gotta remember. And it, sorry, yarn in my mouth, creates like a ribbing. You know what a ribbing is, but it's a very stretchy ribbing. Fisherman's knit is a little bit more involved. So you purl and knit below, and you don't do it, it's not just as simple as like purl the purls and knit the knits. It's like you do knit 1, purl 1 below, all the way around. And then if you're doing it in a round, then the next one will be purl 1, knit 1 below. If you do it back and forth, it's a little bit more involved, but it still makes a rib, and it's not quite as stretchy as the regular ribs, especially if you do like a 2x2 rib. It's they just cinches up quite a bit. It's close together, whereas this rib, it does cinch up though. But when you do it with 2 colors, what happens is, let me see if I can show you. Let's pretend this is a rib, right? So, right, you know when you have a rib, you have like the lines, and then you have like the purls. You have the knit ribs, and then you have the purls in between, right? When you have a fisherman's rib, the knits are 1 color, and then when you pull it apart, in between is the other color when you do it in 2 colors. And then if you flip it inside out, it's opposite. So the rib is in the opposite color, and the purls in between is in the opposite color. I've been wanting to do this for years. I remember I bought some yarn in my very early days to do this with, because I want to do like blue and white. Blue is my favorite color. And when I finally got around to doing it, it was not the yarn for it. That's how I learned that every yarn is not made for every stitch, because it was like a very thick, super bulky 6 yarn, and it didn't look good. I probably should have gave it a few more rows to like, even like it takes a few rows for it to look decent, but I was like, no, this is not it. It was just gonna be big, so big and bulky. So I never used it for that. I've never got around to making it. And so I finally was like, I'm gonna do it with these. Or whichever, I would pick 2 colors, because I have several colors, but this is what I'm on right now. So like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I cast it on. First I feel like I cast on too many, because I overestimated how much it would shrink up, and it didn't shrink up very, like, as much as I thought. So probably when I finished it, it would have been kind of big around, but maybe not, who knows. But what I forgot is that with fisherman's red, because you're knitting and purling below, it is very hard to fix a mistake. Like, very hard. You really have to be very proactive with lifelines, which means you have to like string what is it called? Put a some scrap yarn through your through it at various points, so that if you make a mistake, you can just rip it all back to that point. But I made a mistake like really early on, like probably 4 or 5, 6 rows in, and I was like, you know what, I was like, I could fix this, I could try, but I was like, I don't think this is exactly looking how I want it to look anyway. It's not exactly my vision. So I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna go through trying to fix it or just like ripping it out and restarting it. I'm gonna do something else. So there's another hat that I kind of mentally bookmarked several years ago. It's a Marley Bird hat. It's got like a very, very basic introductory, like stranded, Fair Isle stranded design, which is just like pretty much you do your hat, and let's say this is the base color, and then this contrasting color would kind of have like these little, they end up looking like little hearts, but like little hearts all around them. It's just like a couple stitches that they end up looking like hearts. And I was like, that'll be good to practice like stranded knitting, because it's not something I've done a ton of. So I was like, maybe I'll just do that instead. So I'll do something with these to just use them up. And I think whatever hat, if I will keep at least one of the hats I make with the touch of alpaca yarn. Besides this one. This one probably is, I don't know, we'll see. Depends how cold this one, we'll see. Someone could probably get a lot better use out of this than I could. But it is very, very, it's very thick. I could also see this covering my little ears so well when I walk the dogs. That's my worst thing, is going out and my ears getting cold. We'll see. I don't know. I can't decide. It's a little bit itchy on me though. Just a tad bit. So maybe I won't keep it. I don't know. Anyway, we'll decide. Okay, anyway, onto the thing I've been working on. You've seen it. It is my Peekaboo Shells shawl. It is now huge. I'm a 1 full skein in. I'm gonna stand up in a minute. I'm 1 full skein in on the Mandala bonus bundle, and this is my second skein cake. I've gotten like 1 color through on the cake. Like I started, I'll show you where I changed colors, or where I changed yarns. Where you at? Here. So right here. See that? Goes from here to here. I wish there was like nothing in the second ball of yarn that matched up with this. Like this color just was, just the way that the yarn ended up, like this color was missing. There was no way to like make it match up evenly. So I just kind of had to, but the way like this color was on the outside, which is like pretty much very close to the color that's right before it. So I went all the way to here, changed balls, and then kind of just going backwards. So we're here. This is where I'm at right now, all the way back over here. And we're gonna keep going, and then we're gonna end up back here, which is not, so this here is the color that I started with, like not the middle. This one's in the middle, because I thought that this was the color that I ended the last ball with, but then I looked, they're not exactly the same. So this color here, this brown, I'm all off. This brown pretty much was not in my original cake, and then and then this color here was not in my second cake. I didn't really look. They're so close together. I think I didn't really notice that they're not the same, or that they don't. I just didn't look either. I just grabbed 2 because I know I wanted something fall-y, and I wanted this. There was another one I wanted that was like autumnal colors, but had a little more pop of something, like besides, like I maybe had like a blue or some little pop of color that I wanted. They didn't have 2 of them, and I wanted something that had 2 because I didn't know how big it would go. So this is it. I really like doing this. I'm at that part where it takes so long to get through one like down one side and back up, that it's a little bit tedious, but not so much that I'm ready to quit. Am I showing you the wrong side? I am. This is the right side. They're both pretty, but there's definitely like a difference when you get closer. Right? So it's big, but I do want to go a little bigger, and I feel like I just want to finish out the skein. I keep calling it the wrong thing. It's not a ball, it's not a skein, it's a cake. I want to finish out the cake, so I don't want to be left with just this. I'll have nothing to do with it. So it's big, but it can be bigger because I do want it to, like, I definitely want to make sure like my arms go all the way in it when I'm cold. This will be great for like when I'm at work here. This is where I work, at the same spot, because my house can get chilly downstairs especially, and then I end up having, like, I'll turn the heat up, but then that kind of makes it too hot upstairs. So this way I can just put something on. I usually will have a jacket or a sweater or a hoodie on as well, but this way it's just another option. And then I can wear this to church, even though by the time I finish it, fall will be over probably. Not really, no, if we finish soon. Sorry, I'm all tangled up in like the working yarn. But yeah, I can wear this to church. That is freezing in my church half the time. So this will be something I can wear, as long as I just want to make sure, like, so this is, hold on, let me back up. You'll be able to see, hopefully. I can't really see. Okay, so like, can you see? Can you see? Can you see? All right, so that's how far it goes down. A little bit past my butt. So it'll go down. It'll be big, because I still have quite a bit of this left. So it's going to be big, but hopefully won't be too much bigger. Like, I think we're getting to the point where it's getting big enough that like each row uses up a lot of yarn. But I do want to make sure, like, my arms, I can just do like this, get my arms all in, and we're good to go. So right now, there's like, my elbows are sticking out. I'll be miserable. Sorry, that was me smacking my elbow. So anyway, that's that. That is all I've done this week. It has been a busy week at work. I had a couple of projects that had to get done, or at least had to get to a certain point. And I got them there. One of them, like, I wrote up, we call it a MOP. It's a method of procedure of like how I'm going to implement this ask. And I published it, and I pinged my team. I was like, hey, can I get some people to review this MOP? Because a couple of like other team leads and stuff had to sign off on it before I can do it. And so my team lead was like, I thought we were doing it this way. And I was like, well, we can't do it this way because they don't want, the requesters pretty much were like, they push back on it, that design. And I remember I told my boss, my manager, and I was like, hey, they're pushing back on this. What are some options? And he gave me a suggestion, and I was like, okay, I can do that. And I based my design on the suggestion that he made. But then when my team lead was like, hey, I thought we were doing it this way, my boss was like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. Did they push back? And I was like, yeah, we talked about this. And so I was like, yeah, they pushed back and they didn't want to, this. And he was like, well, we may have to escalate and, within our team, because one of our architects is kind of like the designer of this project. I'm just the one that figured out how to make it work, So we may have to have him push back on them so that they have to accept our original part. And I was like, okay. But then I was like, I don't want anyone thinking I'm going rogue. So I was like, by the way, you are the one that suggested I do it this way. And he was like, oh. And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I guess there's a difference between saying it's possible and saying, or something, I don't know. And I was like, I wasn't just asking to be hypothetical. I was asking you what my next steps were. I didn't say that, but I was like, why are you acting like you didn't tell me to do it this way? So it kind of took a lot of wind out of my sails, but it was the end of my day anyway. And then anytime that anyone on my team is like, okay, we'll have to discuss this further or whatever, that just means it's going into project purgatory for the most part. And so I know my project managers are going to come back to me and be like, hey, where are we on it? And so I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do. I'm going to, like, my boss's boss is like, has his visibility on this. And so I already said, like, in our bigger communication, I was like, hey, I talked to my boss and he suggested we do it this way. So now I'm gonna have to go back and be like, hey, they said we can't do it this, or I don't know. And then, so his boss is in that. He's you know, been very, very active in this. And so he's probably gonna be like, I thought you talked to him already. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But anyway, that's one thing. Plus another, like, it's pretty, you know, usually when I'm here, sitting here at my desk, I, like, you know, do a little bit, and then I have a bit of downtime, and then I can, like, crochet, listen to a podcast, do all kind of stuff. This week has been like bam, 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 bam. And so not as much time to kind of crochet on the side. So, or knit, you know, which I have not. I have barely knit. My son's blanket is still back there. I'm gonna finish this. Well, yeah, I'm gonna probably finish this, or at least work on this before I go back to that. But probably next week I'll pick that back up. And yeah, it's just been busy. So I'm gonna go upstairs now. It's like 10 o'clock. I am gonna sign off. I got a cup of tea here. I'm gonna drink. I'm gonna work on that. Drink the tea. I don't drink anything else. I drink other things, but I don't drink. I'm gonna work on this, and then I'm gonna go to sleep probably. So okay, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope that I remember to edit out where I ran off for a minute. If not, if you had to watch my dirty, junky living room for a minute and a half while I look for that scarf, I apologize. But it is what it is. I will talk to you guys next week, maybe. Hopefully by next Friday. And hopefully I'll have something to show you. All right, bye.